everybody doing tonight? It's Saturday. This is Jewelry Jelly. Welcome to the Pastel Palace. I'm here with Isabel, and I hope you all had a great day. I did absolutely nothing. Well, I did do a few things. I participated a little bit in the Splatfest. I am on Team Fire, by the way, because I love Lytton, and I love, what's-its-face, the Gen 5 starter. I called him Bacon Bit. You never got around to the Splatfest today, MJD82? Well, to be honest with you, I had the floor wiped with me, and I think that grass and water are the more popular choices. Anyway, I also went into playing some of Octopath Traveler Champions of the Continent today. I don't know if anybody is aware of that game, but it is a iOS and Android prequel to Octopath Traveler. It is a gacha RPG in which you need to draw your specific characters that you then put into a party, and you go into battle and you fight bosses, and the bosses are freaking terrifying. Anyway, we are going to get right back into Nina Aquila. MJD82, I need to work out frustration, so I played a few hours of WWE 2K22 in My Rise mode. Oh, yeah. I think I remember you posting a short video of your, character. Hey, MTL, how's it going? How are you feeling? I haven't seen you here in a while. I'm really glad that you could make it. Okay, so, where we last left our party, Nina and Dylan were enlisted by Ren, who is the black guy behind them, to help out a member of the Togen Junken racing team who has apparently been arrested. Nina and Dylan drove up to the mountains last night to visit with Terry Scrub, who was the guy that they managed to acquit of a murder that he was accused of but didn't commit. They went to visit him at his food truck, and it was sold out, so they ended up hanging around with him, watched the race, and then things happened. We don't know exactly what happened. But anyway, we're at the police detention area. Tepig, thank you very much. Yeah, I named mine Bacon Bit. Okay, time to meet this Keisuke person. Yeah, about that. What? I assume that you're Keisuke Akagi? Boss! Here she is, the lawyer who defended the hot dog guy. I'm Nina Aquila, defense attorney, and this is my PA, Dylan Merlo. Hi. Looks like Ren came through. That remains to be seen. These are the people who pulled Terry Scrub out from a high-profile murder case. A pirate cosplayer and a northern biker. Hey! Don't rise to it, Dylan. By the way, Nina is most definitely not a pirate cosplayer. What remains to be seen, though, is if she was born with only one eye, or if she lost it sometime in her life. He's just joshing you, right, boss? Okay, Keisuke, is it? Keisuke Akagi, the Ace of Diamonds. Great. This high and mighty bit you're doing, if you want my services, you can start by checking that at the door. No one browbeats me from within an interrogation cell. My time's valuable, and, at the moment, you're not paying for it. Ha! I like her. She's direct. Okay, I'm willing to give you the benefit of the doubt, as a night in detention is difficult on anyone, but I came down here to meet one person. Can someone explain what's going on? Well, there's 3 of us. That's kind of self-evident at this point. No, I mean all 3 of us were arrested last night at the same time. I'm Hank Castle, the Ace of Hearts. I've already made myself known. And this is... cut her some slack. We're all a bit shaken up. She's Jocelyn Montefiore, the ace of clubs. At least that's introductions out of the way. Next is the difficult question. We didn't kill Clara Mass, if that's what you're about to ask. To be frank, I still resent the fact that we were arrested. Jocelyn seems quiet. Let's just make a mental note of that. Okay, well, before we do anything else, I need to fill in the blanks. My associate and I were up at the Spire last night to support Terry's new hot dog business. While we were there, we saw the start of your race. And later, as we were leaving the mountain, we saw a squad car and an ambulance. The next thing we know, Ren here... That's me! The next thing we knew, Ren was beating down the door of our office. You want to know what happened in between, I presume? That's right. The best way to do that is for me to speak to each of you. Dylan, Ren, I'm gonna need some room. Okay, boss. Hank, can I call you Hank? Go right ahead. What happened? Why did the police bring you guys in? Truthfully, it was because of Ryoko. She's on the warpath. Ryoko? I don't understand. It all happened so fast. Clara was just sitting there, dead, still in the driver's seat of her Mitsuyoda. When she didn't seem to be moving, Keisuke and I pulled her out of the car. And that's when Ryoko and Trey turned up. That must have been difficult to explain. Now there's an understatement. There was an argument while I tried CPR on Clara, but there was no bringing her back. And you say that Ryoko reacted to this particularly badly? From what I understand, Ryoko and Clara's last conversation was an argument. I guess the sight of Clara like that must have been too much for her to bear. And so when the police arrived, Ryoko said they should arrest us. Under the circumstances, I can't say I blame her. Hank seems a pretty reasonable guy. He doesn't seem to be holding back, but he hasn't explained how Clara died. Keisuke. Can I call you Keisuke? You can. So work backwards. Why were you arrested? Because we were standing over Clara's dead body when Trey and Ryoko arrived. Yeah, that'll do it. We were the only ones nearby. Normally there are onlookers along the track, but it was so cold last night it was deserted. Obviously they wanted to know what was going on, but when we didn't have an immediate explanation... excuse me. Both Trey and Ryoko were furious. We were still arguing when the police and ambulance turned up. Ryoko was distraught. She insisted that we three were arrested. And that makes sense, too. Trey and Ryoko drove off, then we saw those emergency vehicles drive by a little while after. But that still leaves out how Clara died. So, how did Clara die? We, or should I say I, don't know. Once we were arrested, we were separated. This is the first chance we've had to confer about what happened. I want to hear Frank and Jocelyn's take on it because my own memories are lacking. Jocelyn, can I call you Joe? Joe, I know it might be difficult, but I need to know more about what happened. Jocelyn, we need to talk to her. Jocelyn! Hey! Are you blind? She's clearly in shock. I just can't believe it. Clara. It's okay, Joe. Try to relax. Dylan's right. Jocelyn's practically in shock. It seems very genuine. Now I have a better understanding of how you got here. This is the difficult part. All three of you were standing over Clara's body when the police turned up. How did Clara die? I mean, it was so quick. Okay, go back to the last time you saw her alive. Walk me through it. Man, I am really tired tonight. We set off from the Rostro Vista parking lot as a foursome. For the ace race, we saw your cars at the start line. There were 4 of us, which was weird. Normally the races are 1v1, but it's been a very close season, so it was the only way to settle things. It was cold. There was ice all over the road. Then what happened? There was some rubbing. Rubbing? Light impacts between our cars. Actually, wasn't it Clara doing most of that? You're right. Strange. Is that unusual? For us? No. For Clara? Clara had a very clean style of racing. It's not like her to be in the middle of the pack trading paint. Then didn't she fall behind? We were coming up to the second hairpin, then I lost sight of her car. You didn't lose sight of anything. Clara turned off her headlights. I figured it was some kind of strategy. With her lights off on a dark part of the road, it'd be hard to block an overtake. But I was in second place going into the corner, so I didn't have time to concentrate on that. What happened next? I heard something. Heard what? The sound of an impact. And that's when it happened. Clara passed us. How? I've been trying to work it out all night, but I've got no answer for you. I didn't hear it or see it, but when we rounded the second hairpin, she had passed us. Her car was... Clara had come off the road and smashed into the roadside verge. So it was an accident? It looked bad, so we all stopped to see if she was okay. But I could tell something was wrong. We tapped on her window, but there was no answer, so we opened the door. And there she was, dead. I hate to ask for the grim details, but it looked like a head impact. I'm no doctor, though. Still, we checked her pulse, and Hank tried CPR. She was definitely gone. And you know the rest. Wow, this is terrible. I thought it might be bad, but... Show some decorum, Ren. Everything's gonna work out. Actually, Keisuke, your associate is wise to be concerned. We didn't kill Clara. You were all taking part in an illegal, unsanctioned street race. I hate to hit you with a reality bat here, but the court takes a dim view on that kind of thing. Even if it was an accident, the prosecution could suggest you three are in part responsible. But you can fix this, right, Ms. Aquila? It's going to be difficult. I can pay you. For representation? Yes. Nina, let me think, Dylan. Put it this way. We can look into Anya's case, but if we don't help this guy, then there will be no one's name on the door in a month. Starting to wish I hadn't turned away those boys in their volleyball thing. Hank, Keisuke, even Jocelyn, I think they're all being truthful. They were rivals, but I don't believe any of them meant Claire any harm. Anya, would you take their case if you were in my shoes? By the way, Anya is Nina's mentor, and she is currently in prison for murder. She pleaded guilty in order to, for some reason, avoid the real person being found. She was framed for murder and took the rap, and Nina has had to live with it. I think you would. Time for the ID. Mr. Akagi, I formally accept your request for representation. Don't forget me, I want in on this too. Of course, Mr. Castle, if you want to hire my services. In fact, do you want to be represented as a group? It would make some things easier to... I do not wish to be represented. What? You heard what I said. Joe, I know you're upset, but... That was... sudden. That's what you're worried about? We need to present a united front or it might make us look guilty. Nina, is there anything you can do? Sorry, guys, but no. As much as I share your concern, I can't compel her to accept legal counsel. If she refuses, that's her choice to make. Maybe I can talk to her later. She might change her mind once things have sunk in a bit more. Well, both of you have formally hired Aquila Defense and Law to represent you in court. That means we need to get moving while you guys sit tight. We've got to try and build you a case before the trial tomorrow, and it's a long drive back up to the spire. When we were arrested, the police took our cars. They'll be at the police impound. Where's that? I know. It's to the south, across the river by the airport. Great, then let's get going. Okay, so we are going to go to the police impound lot. You're sure this is the place? Yep, airport parking lot, basement level. This is the police impound. How'd you know about this? I had to collect something a few years back. Right. Let's just sidestep that. Let's see if we can check out the Ace's cars. I'm here to see some cars. There's no entry to the impound without authorization. Do you have anything that grants you permission to be here? Here. I'm a defense attorney. Some of my clients' cars are here. Humph, another lawyer. Another lawyer? Hey, don't I know you? You were at the casino. Just hold on while I check you in. So how come the impound is at the airport? I heard it had to do with covering up some suspicious construction. Another conspiracy theory? It's not like I actually believe it. It's not like that. This is the basement of the huge airport parking lot. The cops just bought out the whole floor. It was probably easier than building a facility from scratch. I guess that makes sense. Excuse me, miss. You're clear to come and go. Just be aware that you can't remove anything from the impound without police paperwork. Are photographs okay? Notes? Those are fine. Have a good day. Aquila. Chad Hawk? Are you prosecuting for the DA's office? Well, I'm certainly not here for the aesthetic appeal. I just came over to have a look with my own eyes, as it were. So Chad Hawk is the Edgeworth analog for this game. I assume you're representing the Aces. Actually, yes I am. Maybe a bit more economical, Ren. What's he smiling about? You really do pick them. I really... You're teasing me. I would never. A sense of humor, there's a surprise. Besides, my clients pick me, Chad. Then you have my sympathy. Look, we could exchange verbal barbs across this basement parking lot all day, but I suspect neither of us have the time. Quite right, quite right. Oh, and no hard feelings over the scrub case? None at all, Chad. We won. I'll see you in court. Who was that? Prosecutor Hawk. He works for the DA. He and Nina don't see eye to eye. It's a professional dispute. The last time we talked about him, he called him up, but we've got work to do. Do you guys know much about cars? Not really, more than you, but I'm no expert. I could disassemble these and tune them up with only a rag and a spork. Wow, really? What can I say? I'm the Diamonds team mechanic. Okay, then let's have a look at each of them and you can tell me what we need to know. So it reminds you of the underground parking lot from Rise from the Ashes? Yeah, it does, kinda. I liked these ones when I saw them up at the spire. They're small and sporty. These are an import, right? That's right. These are the chosen car of the Burning Hearts. The Burning Hearts. From what I understand, Hank has always preferred the 80s styling of the bodywork. This is a Matsuta XR8, a Japanese domestic model. So the driver's side is on the right? That's correct. Japan drives on the left side of the road because their highway system is very similar to Britain's. Interesting. But not so important for our purposes. Ren, do you see anything unusual about this car? Give me a couple minutes. No, it seems in pretty good order. The tires are worn and there are a few bumps and scrapes, but those are superficial and they're consistent with what the Aces told us. Okay. These ones look a bit ordinary. For a street racing car, I mean. Whoa, is that a real-life Jill 80? You have a good eye. What's a Jill 80? These are the chosen car of the Dancing Diamonds, and their plain appearance is just a disguise. Nina, these cars are a hybrid. You can't buy them like this, you have to build them. Each of them started life as an Imprezon 180JX, which is heavily modified with parts from an Imprezon Gilvia. It removes some of the visual flair, but those parts are cheaper and surprisingly performant. I assembled all of them by hand. This car's a JDM too, right? So the driver's side is on the right? Yep. Ren, do you see anything unusual about this particular car? Let me have a closer look. It's in pretty good condition. Just a few scratches here and there. Nothing I can't buff out. Great, we'll make a note of that. This one looks very different. Is this one domestic? Well spotted. This one's as American as you or I. Well, Nina's actually Canadian. Technically, maybe let's focus on the cars. Fine. These are the chosen car of the metal clubs. Though not everyone on their team uses one, but that's a story for another day. These are a highly tuned sedan with parts from that manufacturer's muscle car model. Ren, do you see anything unusual about this particular car? Let me have a closer look. What the? What's wrong? Nina, this car sustained significant damage to the passenger side front wing. How significant? It must have collided with something. Another car? Could have been. Not good. This is bad, right? Jocelyn's car has signs of collision damage. We don't know that it was a collision with another car. You can bet that Chad Hawk is going to push that angle, though. We should go back to the police detention, maybe speak to Jocelyn. Jocelyn doesn't want to talk. That was clear at our last meeting. So what do we do now? I think we found everything here that we're going to find. Time to head back up to the Rostro Spire. It's getting towards the evening, so if we're going, we should go now. Let's take my car. Okay, so we're headed back up to the city to take Nina's car. Let's check on something first. There's the konbini. Yep. I thought you specialized in onigiri. Nope. Jelly donuts. I don't need to call Livewire right now. So, in the last episode, Nina met a mysterious informant who called themselves Livewire. And they are apparently neither friend or foe. And definitely not a friend. And the casino is where the previous case took place. Say, Nina, you think Ryoko's gonna be up at the spire? Who knows, maybe, maybe not. You okay? Nina, you know Ryoko? Can we not talk about this? Suit yourself, forget I asked. Ooh, there is a past. The Rostro Vista parking lot. I'm gonna check in with the other Dancing Diamonds team members. Maybe they've heard something. Okay, Ren. Why didn't we just go straight to the site of the accident? Look over there. A police checkpoint? That's why. They must want to keep the road clear. So what do? We should try to speak with that Trey guy and maybe even Ryoko. We really need to find a way to get to the scene of the accident. If the police have blocked the road, we need to see if we can get through. And if they refuse, we'll find another way. Hey, you're working with Ren, right? That's right. Sorry, but I don't know anything else about what happened last night. We're all still kind of processing it. That's okay. Thanks anyway. Wait, didn't you go for the card gaming convention? DFA? Yeah, it's a hobby. I swear, sometimes it feels like there are only like 20 people in this city. Well, considering that she's probably made up of a default RPG Maker MV tile graphic, she's not wrong. Hey, you're working with Ren, right? That's right. Sorry, but I don't know anything else about what happened last night. We're all still kind of processing it. That's okay, thanks anyway. Hey, what's with the long line? Is she trying to cut in? Hey, get to the back of the line like everyone else. Oh. These are the best hot dogs I've ever tasted. I just keep coming back. Yep, the clones we saw at the DFA. I think it's the exact same script for the hey, no cutting in line dialogue. Also, hello there, Time Sage. How are you doing? Hey, you were up here last night, right? That I was. And you are? Nina Aquila, I'm a defense attorney, and this is my PA, Dylan Merlot. A lawyer. You come up here often? Every day. I'm the custodian. Of the parking lot? What, did you think it took care of itself? I suppose not. How come you're up here so late? Maybe it's a round-the-clock job. What do you care? Someone's got to clean up after those Rostra Racer kids. Do you know the Racers? These punks? Sorry, I forgot to say, I'm representing some of the people who were arrested last night. Not sure why you'd talk to me. Well, you spend a lot of time up here. I thought you may have seen something. Nope. I'm looking for anything which I can use to establish what happened. Did you see anything unusual last night? No. I mean, no. You had to think about that? Maybe I wanted to give you an honest answer. You think about that? Hey, it's fine. You didn't see anything. But why so argumentative? Did you see anything unusual last night? He says nuh-uh. He couldn't maybe take off the gas mask and tell me himself? What would be metal about that? Hey, you're working with Ren, right? That's right. Sorry, but I don't know anything else about what happened last night. We're all still kind of processing it. That's okay, thanks anyway. Hey, you're working with Ren, right? That's right. Sorry, but I don't know anything else about what happened last night. We're all still kind of processing it. That's okay, thanks anyway. What's gonna happen? Were all the other aces arrested? Are we still gonna race here? Everyone, please. This has been a difficult time for all of us. Some of us lost a dear friend. Others lost even more. He keeps glancing at that car as though it has some kind of special significance. Maybe I should take another look at it. Ryoko and I are here tonight in case the police need to ask us any questions. But I give you my word. Toge Junken racing on the Rostro Spire will continue. And we will not rest until those who did this are brought to justice. Yeah, why does he have cat ears? We love you, Trey! He's so dreamy! He is dreamy. You think so? The guy knows how to whip up a crowd. Maybe, but that crowd's going to make it impossible to talk to him. Though from what was in that speech, I doubt Trey will have much to say to us. Trey kept looking over at this car. Nina? It must have been for a reason. Nina, you got a sec? What is it? Before you start thinking out loud, I think Ryoko's in that car. How'd you figure? Well, Trey just said that they were up in the spire last night in case the police needed to talk to them. But we can't see Ryoko anywhere. Oh, wow, he's probably right. I wonder why she'd just sit in her car. I think that Ryoko and Clara were close. Hank said... Oh, what? What is it? I just realized something. Not important. If you say so. Poor Ryoko. I had no idea. In any case, if she needed to be here and didn't want people to see her, then her car's a good place to be, what with the darkened windows. Yeah, wait. Do all the street racing cars have darkened windows? I think so, all the ones we've seen anyway. So it sounds like Ryoko and Clara were close. Probably girlfriends. The police might tolerate it to some degree due to how remote this place is, but mountain road racing is still technically illegal. What is this thing? So theory, Ryoko is Nina's ex. Yeah, I have a feeling that they have a past together too. Please remain within the parking lot. This road is closed for the time being. Time to switch on that magnetic personality. Why have the police closed the road? A criminal incident. Criminal? With all due respect, officer, it hasn't been established that a murder took place. Who said anything about murder? I'm talking about speeding. What? I hardly think that speeding is the thing to focus on here. These street racers think they're a law unto themselves. Well, I, Rhonda Hayes, the greatest traffic cop in the history of Fledge City PD, will not stand for it. Greatest? Traffic? Surely that's not a thing. It is too. I've issued more citations for speeding and illegal parking than any other cop in Fledge City PD history. No criminal escapes haste. Especially now. Now? What do you mean now? What's so important about right now? I've been reporting these street racer types for years, but my superiors never took me seriously. Too remote, they said. I had understood that the racer's safety record had been pretty good so far. That doesn't make their activities legal. The one positive to come out of this tragedy is that finally, the ringleaders will be safely behind bars where they belong. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm under orders to refuse access to anyone but police. Oh yeah? What's this? I'm a defense attorney representing... I'm under orders to only allow police through this cordon, as is my colleague at the bottom of the mountain. And you're not police. Can she actually refuse to allow us to access the site? Now look here. I have my orders and I intend to follow them. If you disagree, you can raise your objections with my superior. Okay, where's your superior? At the crash site. Can she really do that? It's called malicious compliance. She can refuse temporarily, but on the understanding she facilitates her access. Telling us to talk to her superior is her facilitating for us. It's not against the rules per se, but violates the spirit in which they were written. Either way, we'll have to find another way to the site. Ah, Nina. She even makes a good argument for malicious compliance. So let's see if we can talk to anyone. Any luck? Nothing yet. At least nothing we don't already know. I'll keep asking around. Alright, I think we probably messed up and we're supposed to be back at the crime scene, so let's see. Is that a tank under the sheet? I don't know what is under that sheet. We never really found out the previous night. I wonder if Mew is under the truck. Can we walk past the cop? I don't know. I tried to cross the road, but I couldn't. But we can try again. So, you see, we are blocked over here. Give me 1 second and I will see what the walkthrough says. Here is a map. This seems to be a map of the area around the Rostro Spire. There's where we are at the top, the Rostro Vista parking lot. Think this might be useful? You're right. Let me take a picture with my phone. Ren, did you find out anything useful? Sorry, no. Everyone was here for the start of the race, apart from a couple of guys. But they were at the finish line. It was so cold last night that no one wandered down to watch mid-course. It was snowing, after all. I guess. Ren, we need to get to the crash site, but the police at the barricade won't let us through. You want to ram it? I could probably rig up some ram bars to your car. No! I'm a defense attorney, not an action hero! Damn it, Jim! It would work. Not the point. I was going to ask, is there any other way to get onto the course? Maybe going around the barricade. Actually, yes, there is. You got a map? Yeah, I took a picture of the tourist map. Okay, give me your phone. I need to doodle some extra info. There we go. And this line you've drawn? Yep, it's a dirt road. It'll take you around the parking lot as far as the 7th Straight. When you hit the end of the dirt road, just keep going. You'll come out onto the downhill course. I've also put a mark for where the crash site ought to be if it's where the aces told us. Okay, Ren. Dylan and I will make our way there. We might finish pretty late. Can you make your own way home? I'll catch a ride. Don't worry about me. See you at the courtroom tomorrow. Okay, so we've got a way down. Now there's a familiar face. Nina Aquila, as I live and breathe. Evening, Detective Flatfoot. Am I to assume by your presence... Aquila Defense and Law is acting as representation, yes. Though I only just got here, no thanks to one of your traffic cops. Rhonda. Yep, she could do with a stern reminder about a few things. Sorry, this is some kind of personal vendetta to her. It's her big chance to nail the aces to the wall. Yeah, she gave me the whole spiel. Well, you're here now. If you're defending, then as usual, you have full access to the scene. We've been here a few hours already, so feel free to ask us anything. Thanks, Detective. Okay, let's get started. What are we looking for? Honestly? Anything. I'm keeping an eye on the road, ma'am. Detective Flatfoot can answer any questions you may have. Let's examine the car. It's an unusual model, what with that black hood. That's a carbon fiber hood. It's light but strong. Then why just replace the hood? Other panels are more complex to replace, but the hood is easy. You could probably do it. Plus, replacing the whole body is kinda overkill sometimes. The car is a Mitsuyoda AG88. A kit car? That's right, these can only be purchased as kits. Apparently all of the Spade's cars were built by Trey Gearson, their mechanic. There seems to be a lot of damage. Yeah, the front bumper and driver's side have sustained heavy damage from the crash. The engine bought it too. The car won't start. Let's examine the car. Wait, is the driver's side front wheel missing? Yep, it's just gone. We assumed it happened during the crash. How come? All 3 other wheels are damaged in some way. Tracking, righting, even if you had the 4th wheel, the car wouldn't drive straight with this sort of damage. Have you managed to recover the wheel? Was it somewhere nearby? No, we haven't found it. Then again, most of the downhill course has that same cliff edge. You can see Fledge City from here. You're thinking it went over that cliff? It's not an unreasonable assumption, seeing as though we can't find it. Let's examine the car. Anything else? Detective, why is this car missing its license plates? Wow, you're right, it has no plates. Well spotted. Truthfully? We don't actually know. At least that's an honest answer. Fledge City technically only requires that drivers display 1 plate. But that doesn't explain why this car has none at all. Did it have one at the start of the race? I mean, I want to say yes, but I don't actually remember. Gotta admit, I didn't look either. Sometimes debris from the road strikes a car's bumper, shattering the plate. It's rare, but it happens. Could have happened earlier in the evening. Still, it's strange. Okay, and we're going to talk to Flatfoot. What do you need to know? Have you managed to produce a working theory about what happened? I'm not sure what your clients told you, Ms. Aquila, but to us it seems pretty clear. What we see makes us think that one of the aces nudged Clara's car as they came around the turn. That pushed her off the road and into the side barricade. Now, the three of them are colluding to try and defuse the blame. Do you have reason to believe one of them intentionally shunted Clara's car? Shunted is a strong word, so it could have been an accident. I'm inclined to say that it wasn't. Clara was familiar with these roads. All four of them were. And if I'm being honest, they were involved in an illegal street race. That's a means, not a motive, detective. True, but I suspect the court won't give much benefit of the doubt. Endangerment caused by such reckless activity basically borders on murder. Not good. What do you need to know? I'd heard that the police tolerated the racing up on the spire, so why is Rhonda Haste so obsessed with catching the aces? Rhonda, she's a traffic cop. I guess she has a natural dislike of illegal street racers. Comes with the job. She's actually the best the Fledged City PD has ever had. Did she tell you that? It came up. In any case, the racing up here is still illegal. Don't you get the wrong idea. Just the road is pretty unused now and it's too remote. Policing it to catch organized street racers isn't a good use of police time. It's true that they're pretty organized. I hear that their safety record was good too prior to all this. Well, yes and no. What? They're organized because of what happened back in the 80s. In the 80s? From what I understand, in 1981, there was a fatality during a race. The leader of the Rostra Racers, their Joker as they call it, they took responsibility and stepped down from mountain racing. What happened to them? Who knows? But it was enough to get the racers to adopt some safer practices. I have expected to run into Chad Hawk up here. We saw him down at the police impound. Oh, Chad wouldn't come up here. He'll just read our report. You so sure about that? Yep, Chad doesn't like heights. And he can't drive. He can't drive? He probably got the bus to the impound. What do you need to know? Do you have a cause of death? We'll be working up a more detailed report as usual, but I don't think we'll need it in this case. Why? Clara's body has been taken to the morgue, but she had a clear head wound and her blood was on the steering wheel. All of that suggests that when the car struck the barricade, her head was thrown forward and struck the wheel. She probably died instantly. Was she in that position when your officers arrived at the scene? No, from what we understand, the other aces removed her body from the car and tried to administer CPR. That also supports the theory that her death was quick. That supports what the aces said. No seatbelt? Airbag? From what we could see, the seatbelt was slack, probably just improperly fitted. There was no airbag. I guess they stripped it out to lighten the car for racing. We've put together a dossier on this. You're welcome for a copy. Can you tell me much about Clara Mass? She occupied some kind of respected position among these street racers. She held the current position of Joker, which is the group's de facto leader. Outside of that, though, I knew her. You did? Just in passing. She was pointed out to me a few years ago at a charity dinner sponsored by the police. We never actually spoke. What I know is that she was from Fledged City and was independently wealthy. Something of a high society heiress. Well, that's interesting. So the street racing was just a hobby? I suppose. She was a patron of the arts and supported multiple charitable causes. She was popular. Tyron Kestrel half expected to see Clara run for mayor someday. Taryn, you mean the DA? That's right, though it was just idle gossip. Nina, who's the DA? The district attorney, Taryn Kestrel, Chad Hawk's boss. In any case, I have a dossier on her. You're welcome to a copy. Have you performed a tire track analysis? Tire track analysis? The police can map the tire tracks of an accident and lets them create a computer model of what happened. Yeah, in fact, a lot of the people in this game are named after birds. I mean, we've got hawk, kestrel. I'm thinking Aquila might be somewhat aviary related. Wow, that's impressive. So what happened? Inconclusive. Excuse me? This track is only really used for mountain racing, but that means we have cars of similar profiles doing the same thing. Over and over again. I get it. I don't. It's like trying to pull fingerprints off the door handle to a bank after a robbery. Sure, the robbers probably opened the door, but so did 10,000 other people within the prior few weeks. Exactly right. The problem isn't the lack of tire rubber, it's that there's too much. Excuse me. Even the verges at the side of the road are chewed up. As snow was falling when the accident happened, the snow was fresh everywhere too, so no help there either. Okay, I think we found everything that we're going to find. Though nothing that really gives a complete picture of what happened. If only there was a witness. Still, let's head back to the office. Nina, can we make a quick pit stop? You want to get hot dogs? Mind reader. Sounds good. Let's take the car back up the mountain. Oh, Ms. Aquila, before you leave. I forgot to tell you about something. What is it, detective? One of the pieces of evidence is a photograph. A photograph? A photographer was up on the mountain last night. Apparently, he takes many pictures of the racers on the later hairpins. I think his name was Marco West. Marco, that damn meddler. What does this have to do with him? I've heard the name. Wasn't he the one who called the police? That's right, but he also took a photo of the immediate aftermath of the incident. Fantastic! Can we get a copy of the photo? Marco, he took it home to develop it. Develop it? When does he think this is? 1995? He's a bit of a hipster, okay? I don't know what to tell you. I haven't actually seen the picture either. But when Chad spoke to Marco about what the photo's expected to show, I'm just saying you should be aware of it as it's going to come up. A professional courtesy, understand? If it were a digital photo, I'd be giving you a copy, but this is the best I can do. Thanks, detective. No problem. Safe trip back. Alright, so get in line for hot dogs. Okay, that'll be $4.50. I think I have... Yeah, here's the right change. Thanks! Hey, T-Bro, we came back. I'm actually starting to feel pretty hungry, too. Don't quite know how to break this to you guys. I just sold out. That last customer bought my final dog for the evening. No way! Sorry, I opened pretty early tonight and it's been kinda busy, what with there being no racing. Everyone's been stuck hanging around the parking lot. 0 for 2. Still, I guess it's good for business. How are you liking your new job? I'm loving it! It's great to be outside, seeing so many people, being an important service. Plus, from the truck, I serve pretty much everyone and see all the comings and goings. Sees all the comings and... Maybe. Terry, did you serve a hot dog to Clara Massadal last night? Like, before Dylan and I arrived up here at the Spire? No, I didn't. I would remember, too. Come to think of it, she came to the truck on most nights she was up here. I saw her car arrive at 10 p.m. when she pulled up to the start of the race. I had assumed she was running late and had just come from her home in Fledge City. Excuse me, are you okay? You looked like... It's nothing, really. Just thought I... No, really, it's nothing. I wonder what that was about. I wouldn't take it personally, Nina. The culture here thrives on face, and I'm honest, you don't have any. Face? Yeah, face. Like props. Respect. Kudos. Cred. Likes. Recognition. I get it. Plus, it's a community of illegal street racers. They're not fond of police. Or lawyers. Like I said, don't take it personally. Well, I guess all there is to do now is to head back home. Sorry, guys. I'll try to make it up to you some other time. Oh, we still haven't had those hot dogs yet. Nina, something just occurred to me. Did you see Ryoko at the start of the ace race last night? No, but then I had no reason to expect she'd be nearby. I didn't know she was a street racer. Private Maverick, man, no chili dog. Sonic's not gonna like that. No, he won't. That's just it. Surely you would have noticed her? No offense, but when you spotted her later on just for a moment, you looked like you'd just been struck by lightning. Was kinda hoping that I was the only one to notice that, but okay. Anyway, Ryoko was obviously close to Clara. Wouldn't she be at the start line? I guess. You look worried. I'm just trying to piece things together. Clara and the Aces were racing. Something happened. Moments later, Clara was dead. The stuff we found doesn't make what happened between any clearer. Just what are we missing here? And what could be on that photograph? This is the end of the day. It is recommended that you save your game to a new file before you continue. You can also save at any time from the main menu screen. Would you like to save your game? Yes. Whew! Are you finished? Dylan? I crashed here again, remember? Look, if you're ready, I need to use the shower before we go to court. You ready? Good to go, boss. Okay, time to go to the courthouse. Great, looks like Ren is already here. Let's meet up with him, then go to the bench. Nina, I got here on time. Where do I sit? That's actually something I wanted to ask you about, Ren. Do you think you can keep a cool head throughout the trial? I mean, I guess. Why? Yesterday, something became very obvious to me. You know cars, and we don't. That potentially makes you our new expert, if you feel up to it. You really want my help? Only if you can pull yourself together and stay that way. Nina, don't you think you're being a bit harsh? I'm being direct. There's a lot riding on this, and we don't have the luxury of time. Think you can do it? Won't even bend a fender. I'll be your expert. Great! Is here okay? That's great, Ren. Is it okay to have experts ride on the bench like this? Yeah, it's permitted if some aspect of the case requires specialist knowledge. Anya used to do it all the time. Hello again, Ms. Aquila. I see you have a new face on the bench. Chad? Did you feel you needed to bring in some extra help? You can say what you want, Chad, but I came here today with a car expert. You, on the other hand, don't even drive. Good one, Nina. You think so? I thought so. You're right. I don't drive. I prosecute. I think his was better. Are they always like this? From what I've observed, yes. I'm standing right here, you know. All rise for the Honorable Judge Tawny. Please be seated. We are here today. Ms. Aquila, I see you are joined at the bench by another advisor. Can you explain this before we begin? Yes, Your Honor. This man is Stan Renson, or Ren to his friends. He is an expert on automobile design, maintenance, and construction. The defense requests his presence due to the nature of this case. Your Honor? Strictly speaking, counsel can invite anyone to the bench as long as they are not disruptive. In the interest of expediency, the prosecution would like to voice that we have no objections. Expediency? Whatever he's got, he must be quite confident in it. Very well. We are here today in the observance of an unusual case. 3 individuals are to be tried concurrently. Keisuke Akagi, also known as the Ace of Diamonds. Hank Castle, also known as the Ace of Hearts, and Jocelyn Montefiore, also known as the Ace of Clubs. These individuals were involved in actions which led to the death of Clara Mass, a wealthy socialite, also known as the Ace of Spades. Collectively, they stand accused of murder by reckless endangerment, involuntary manslaughter, as well as murder in the first degree. What the? Murder in the first degree? Nina, is the judge suggesting one of the aces intentionally killed Clara Mass? I don't understand it either. I'd like to continue, Ms. Aquila. Apologies, Your Honor. Prosecutor Hawk, are you prepared for this case? As always, Your Honor. And you, Ms. Aquila? The defense is ready, Your Honor. One of these days it's going to be true. Really wish I'd taken up those boys on that volleyball thing. Very well. Mr. Hawk, please state the prosecution's case. With pleasure. Your Honor, the 3 accused individuals were arrested on the night before last at a corner on the Rostro Pass. This is a road one seldom used in winter. It's far to the north, but still within the limits of Fledge City's jurisdiction. The road itself is on the slopes of the Rostro Spire, the tallest mountain in the region, and is somewhat infamous for its use in the culture of illicit mountain pass racing. For clarity, this is a form of illegal street racing. When the police arrived, these 3 individuals were found at the site of a driving-related incident. Present at the scene was the body of Clara Mass, herself a street racer. Clara Mass was dead. Additionally, her car, a Mitsuyoda AG88, was badly damaged. This followed many eyewitness reports that these 4 individuals set off from the Rostro Vista parking lot in 4 cars and were taking part in an unsanctioned street race. The prosecution asserts that the other 3 individuals colluded to cause the death of Clara Mass, and we intend to prove this via witness testimony. So they're going for the collusion angle, which is interesting. I mean, it's gonna probably come up that there was some bad blood between the 3 of them. That's a lie. The aces would never... Ren! What did we talk about?
Order!
Order! Ms. Aquila, is your expert counsel going to be a problem? Nina, I know it's hard, Ren, but if you want to help, you need to keep a lid on it. Okay. I apologize on behalf of my expert, Your Honor. This is his first time in court. There will be no further outbursts. Very well. Thank you, Mr. Hawk, for your summary of the case. Bailiff, please bring in the defendants. Defendants, can you please confirm your name and occupation? Hank Castle, Ace of Hearts. I work as a producer at a TV show production company. Keisuke Akagi, Ace of Diamonds. I work as a delivery driver. Jocelyn. Take your time. Jocelyn Montefiore, Ace of Clubs. I work as a studio tech at Fledge City Records. Records, like for music? Yes, Your Honor. Bands, singers, that sort of thing. Your Honor, while each of the defendants has stated their J-job profession, their occupation in this case relates more to their nighttime activities. Each of the people before you is a notorious... Your Honor, the prosecution's use of the word notorious is leading.
Objection!
I simply mean to say that they have notoriety within their community. While I can understand Ms. Aquila's position, I agree with Mr. Hawke in this particular instance. Overruled, Ms. Aquila. Let's not quibble over such fine details at this stage. As I was saying, these three individuals are notorious within Fledge City's illegal street racing scene. Chad's staring at me like he expects me to object to that. Not a chance. They're illegal street racers, that's beyond contention. In fact, each of these people is a leader of one of the city's street racing teams. The prosecution requests, then, that this is recorded as their occupation in addition to their actual job. Really making a meal of this one, aren't you, Chad? The defense does not dispute this, Your Honor. Very well. Please explain in brief why you were up on the Rostro Spire on the night in question. Your Honor, each year the Rostro Racers, that is to say the street racers of the Rostro Spire, compete for the title of Joker. Our Joker is the leader of our community. I see. You're awfully organized, considering that this is all built around the practice of illegal street racing. In any case, the night in question was the night where we had intended to select a new Joker. In some years this is won on points, where there's a clear candidate based on all the races in the season. This year we required a race-off. An ace race. Race-off. The competition was unusually close this year, which meant that all four of us had to take part. I understand. So, in that case, who is this Joker now? Excuse me? Your race was to select a new leader. Who is this leader now? Well, we don't know. When we started the race, Clara was Joker, but the race didn't finish. And Clara's dead. This is an unprecedented situation. The community will probably have to select a new Joker by some other means once this is all over. In that case, street racing, though illegal, is something of a misdemeanor. We'll deal with that at another hearing. But with regards to today's proceedings, the three of you are aware of the charges put forth by the prosecution. How do you plead? Not guilty, Your Honor. Not guilty, Your Honor. I plead...
Objection.
Your Honor, regarding a matter of protocol. I was wondering when he'd bring this up. Only two of the defendants have accepted the services of Aquila Defense and Law. Ms. Jocelyn Montefiore did not accept Ms. Aquila's offer of counsel. It's improper, therefore, to try them all at the same time. It's unusual, certainly. Ms. Aquila, do you have a view on this matter? Your Honor, as Ms. Montefiore isn't a lawyer, it is the norm for the city to assign her a public defender. By a lottery process. It's improper for you to suggest it would be your firm just because. Did I hit a nerve? Why doesn't he want me to represent Jocelyn? Your Honor, may I speak? I may be able to resolve this. I request to plead the fifth. The fifth? It means that she refuses to testify. And as she hasn't accepted my counsel, I can't advise her about why that's a bad idea. Are you certain, Ms. Montefiore? I refuse to enter a formal plea. Very well, you have that right, but I request that I stand alongside my friends. Surely... Silence, Mr. Hawke. I need a moment to consider this. Please, Judge Tawney. Given the alternatives, the only prudent course is to allow you to stand. However, Ms. Montefiore, this is highly irregular. If you're playing games in my courtroom, I'll have you behind bars for contempt so fast you'll think that I'm the fastest within Fledge City limits. Am I clear? Crystal, Your Honor. Mr. Castle, Mr. Akagi, Ms. Montefiore, the court recognizes your plea. Prosecution, bring forth your first witness. Okay, here we go. Huh? Hawke's about to bring out a witness who will give a statement. Listen to it. We have to focus on the little details. We're looking for an inconsistency, a flaw of some kind, which shows the witness is either lying or just mistaken. Don't worry about memorizing the statement, though. We'll be able to recap it afterward. Inconsistencies. Got it. Special Traffic Operative Rhonda Haste. Reporting as requested, ma'am. Goodness. Ms. Haste, can you please bring it down a notch? And I prefer to be dressed as Your Honor. Apologies, Your Honor. Your Honor, this is Rhonda Haste, Fledge City's most decorated traffic cop. Her record of arrests for highway code violations is peerless in the history of Fledge City PD. I see. In that case, this gives me the chance to pose a question that I've been mulling since I became aware of this case. If the activities of the Rostro Racers are so widely known and obviously illegal, how have they persisted for so long? I guess someone had to ask. Are you implying our work is unsatisfactory? As I'll have you know, I have made arrests that have led to over 400 convictions. Really, I have issued over 8,000 citations. That many? The Eastern wing of the Fledge City Children's Hospital is called the Haste Wing. Do you want to know? That's quite enough. Officer Haste, your achievements are quite impressive, but I'm asking a specific question. Why does the racing up on the Rostro Spire persist despite your best efforts? It's because of those damn pen pushers, the penny pinchers at City Hall. Your Honor, if I may, the reason is down to how the police force is budgeted. They can't afford to make it their priority. The Rostro Pass has been unused since the construction of new roads around a decade ago. The racers have taken care to avoid accidents. In fact, the last fatality was back in 1981. Statistically speaking, that makes it one of the safest roads in the city. Officer Haste here has pursued the racers whenever the opportunity arose, but was unable to apprehend the suspects on these occasions. Those were under less than ideal circumstances. I've appealed to the chief multiple times, seeking to mount a sting operation. But those damn bean counters just won't let me do my job. These racers are a menace, both to other road users and to themselves. I say, a spirited individual for sure. Thank you, officer. Please, move on to your statement. I was among the team that was dispatched to the mountain on the day after the incident to assess the scene. It seems obvious that one of the aces, perhaps more than one, barged Clara's car off the road. Street racing is a dangerous pursuit. It's of no benefit to the community, and those people should be behind bars. I always knew something bad would happen on the mountain, but the PD would never listen. Well, it's on their heads now. Very well, Ms. Aquila, you may begin your cross-examination. She seems totally confident in her opinion. Let's shatter that confidence. I love that look on her face.
Hold it.
You weren't among the police who went to the scene on the night of the accident? What are you implying? Oh, I mean, I can take a night off, you know? Nina, sheesh. Everyone needs a night off. There's no need for such a suggestion. Whoa, sensitive much? I just wanted to be certain. You came to the scene for the first time on the following day? Yes.
Hold it!
Why do you believe that? Surely it's self-evident. In that case, can you walk us through it? Fine. Firstly, we interviewed people who were at the base of the course from as early as 8 p.m. Nobody passed by going up or down the mountain. That seems unusual in and of itself. Actually, the Highways Department at City Hall have survey data for this taken over a period of several months last year. It suggests that the road is very much disused. Nobody passed by going up or down the mountain. Plus, we know that no one passed the top of the mountain during or immediately after the ace race took place. That means no other vehicles could have been involved. That's true. Dylan and I were there, and no one passed by until the police and ambulance showed up. There's one more thing. The Rostro Pass downhill is a single road with no branches or turnoffs. This is why the Rostro racers use it. Isn't it delightful? Those street racer rogues are sewn up by the very thing which attracted them to the mountain roads of our fair city. Poetic justice! Wait, does that scan? Something doesn't seem right about what Rhonda just said. Do you feel this is important, Miss Aquila? Yes, I believe it's important. Very well. Witness, can you please add this to your statement? Well, there is the map. Officer Haste, would you say that you know the roads of the Rostro Spire quite well? What sort of question is that? Yes, of course I do. I patrol that area from time to time, so I have a good understanding of all the roads. And what about the trails? The what? The trails, Officer Haste. Dirt tracks used by hikers. Do I look like a park ranger to you? Bingo. In what way is this relevant, Aquila? Who cares about a bunch of hiking paths? Because not all of them are exclusively used by hikers, Chad. Some of them are wide enough for cars. Officer Haste, you may know the roads up on the mountain, but there's one route you didn't account for. Indicated on this map. Impossible! I drove that road up and down as part of my investigation and saw no such turnoff. If I may, the turnoff isn't visible from the road. You have to drive through some foliage in order to get to it. The branches of the bushes are springy, so it's back to normal only moments after someone passes through. I used this dirt trail myself on the evening after the accident in order to access the crime scene. Ridiculous! Why would you have to take such a roundabout route to the crime scene when there's a perfectly good road? Officer Haste, would you care to answer that question? Wait, why would she... This is preposterous! I'm an officer of the law and I was following my orders to the letter. Officer Haste, answer the question. Your Honor, in the interests of expediency, Officer Haste would not allow us access to the crime scene. She refused you access? She neglected to inform me of this. While she was following her orders, as she states, I believe that this was an example of malicious compliance. I'm not on trial here. That may be. Still, Miss Haste, those actions are highly unbecoming of a police officer. In any case, what's important is that Officer Haste's statement hinges on that there was no other way to access the course, implying no third party could have been involved. This is simply wrong.
Order.
Yes, I can see the inconsistency. You make a good point, Miss Aquila. Time Sage, daily reminder that police suck. Yeah, time to push it. In fact, Your Honor, this conclusion suggests the opposite. A third party could have been involved.
Objection.
That seems a leap of logic at this point. Absence of evidence is not evidence. That's a great maxim, Chad. Do you keep that up on your bedroom wall next to the big Live, Laugh, Love poster? That may be true, Chad. But even you can concede that this throws Officer Haste's reliability into question. Your Honor, the prosecution requests to call a new witness. Granted, Mr. Hawke. Officer Haste, you may leave. Before I go, I will say that I acted in the best interests of... Officer Haste? Yes? Your continued presence here offends me. Get out of my sight! Whoa. Anya told me that Chad was a stickler for process. I guess we just saw that in action. Much as I dislike him personally, I guess I can respect him. He really does care about justice. Mr. Hawke, please summon your next witness. The prosecution calls Marco West to the stand. So he is that photographer that Ryoko was mentioning. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Mr. West? Maybe it's the albedo of all the wood. Mr. West. You can't possibly expect me to pass up this opportunity. You are in court. Show some decorum. But the lighting in here, it's marvelous. And the furnishings are so rustic. That may be, but... And every surface in here, every spot, they tell a story of life and death, of the fulcrum around which justice pivots. Why do we never get anyone, well... Is normal the word you're looking for? Yeah. I guess it keeps things interesting. Mr. Marco West, please. Oh my. I had no idea that within this maze of judicial mahogany there would dwell such a delicate sakura petal. with eyes the color of the sea after a storm. Tell me, what conditioner do you use? Do you exfoliate? You must exfoliate. Uh-oh. What? Brace yourself. I mean... Keep talking. I don't know what's happening. I guess even judges get thirsty. And your nails, I can almost see my face in them. I've just come from a manicure from a place nearby. I should give them a try. Perhaps we could go together. Judge Tawny. That would be delightful. I think I have their card in my purse. Judge Tawny, please stop fraternizing with my witness. Fair play, Mr. Hawk. Mr. West, Marco, can you please return to the witness stand? With some regret. I love it how just, like, they jump right back into position. That is something that you can't really do in the visual novel style of the Ace Attorney games, and something that you can easily do with RPG Maker MV. Please state your name and occupation for the record. Gladly, Your Honor. I am Marco West, jet-setter, artisan, and photographer. So you travel a great deal for your work? Just when I feel drawn to do so. I like to think of myself as a student of the very concept of beauty in motion. Is this guy for real? My last booking was the Paris fashion show, prior to which I was in Milan. Goodness. Marvelous. But with all that, how did you come to be involved on the night in question? Enchanting. While at the Paris fashion show, I received an email about something going on in the mountains here in Fledge City. An email from whom? It was anonymous, or at least I could not place the name anywhere. An anonymous email? Understand that I am a celebrated artist. I receive odd and unusual fan mail all the time. This one talked about street racing up on the slopes of the Rostro Spire, and it occurred to me that perhaps beauty lay not just in nature or on the catwalk, but in thundering engines and tire-shredding speed. The idea stirred something within me, and I came to Fledge City the following day. Witness, if you don't mind, can you start to steer this towards why you were up at the mountain on the night that Clarimas died? Confidence. Astounding. Not long after I arrived, I met up with the Rostro Racers up at the Rostro Vista parking lot. I believe I first spoke to Hank Castle, who stands before me now. Hi. But I soon met the others too. In fact, just over 2 weeks ago, I went with the group to a bar called Shin's Place downtown. I must confess I wanted to see the group dynamic with their guard down, in vino veritas and all that. In fact, I have a picture of the event right here. I see. What did you find? I quickly became fascinated by their culture and strong friendship rooted in their love of speed. Then, when the night was at its peak and all of us were, shall I say, quite merry, Clara told me of a sacred truth that bound them all together, a shared sense of purpose. So this must be the photograph that Flatfoot was mentioning, that she'd said lay within the heart of the drift. She believed that only a driver can experience this truth, but I wasn't convinced. Nothing can hide from my lens. So, over the following days, I searched for the best place to capture this truth. I soon found it was on the third hairpin of the course, quite near the finish. Nina, Clara's car, the accident. That was just after the second hairpin. So Marco was just around the corner when it happened? I mean, technically, but the straight between the corners is quite long. There's a few hundred yards between them. The third hairpin is wide and offers a chance for long drifts. So on the evening in question, I walked up from the end of the course and camped out in that spot waiting for the race. I was there from around 8 p.m., as sometimes the group has warm-up races or other members settle their own scores. On that night, though, not a single car passed me. You weren't bored just sitting there? A little, but I brought my phone and some headphones. I've recently gotten into electro swing. If you had headphones on, you weren't worried you'd be caught unawares when the cars happened by? I had a radio tuned to the Rostro Racer's frequency. A light on it blinks when they talk, so I thought it a calculated risk. When it blinked, I took off the headphones and got ready to try and snap the ultimate shot. But then something surprising happened. Or, should I say, didn't happen. What? I waited patiently, but the racers never came into view. Instead, all I heard was the screeching of tires a bit further up the road. And when I walked up to investigate, I saw this. So that's the photo. Order! Order in the court! Apologies for stating what seems to be obvious, but that appears to be the defendants removing Clara's body from her car. This is a wide angle and just a still, but I can tell you that Clara looked very much dead. That's not... We were just trying... Order! Defendants, please refrain from outbursts during the witness's remarks. Don't worry, guys. We'll straighten all this out yet. The prosecution would like to state that the photo is to be considered alongside Mr. West's statement. In that case, Mr. West, please make your formal statement. Commanding. Marvelous. No problem. As usual, during recent races, I was camped out on the third hairpin. I'd been there all evening. No cars had passed by. My radio went off to say that the race had started, and I braced to take pictures. I heard the sound of squealing tires, but no cars passed. I ran up the side of the road to see what was going on. When I got there from a distance, I saw the 3 accused around the victim's car. That's when I snapped the photo. I hate to say it, but they looked very suspicious. I wanted to call 911, but the reception was poor. I had to run back to hairpin 3 to make the call. After that, I went home to develop the photograph. I thought it would be important. Thank you, Mr. West. Ms. Aquila, please begin your cross-examination. This is strange. Is that photo really compelling evidence? What sort of game are you playing, Chad?
Hold it!
You didn't see anything unusual? Nothing that would raise concern? Not at all. I was pacing to try and keep warm while the snow was falling. He's right, it was particularly cold that night. Hear anything? Sorry, no, I had my headphones on and was listening to music. Anyway, I'd been there for some time when... My radio went off to say that the race had started and I braced to take pictures.
Hold it!
What sort of camera do you use? I possess a vast range of bodies and glass. Glass? He's referring to lenses, Aquila. Correct. Are you a photographer, Mr. Hawk? I dabble. But on the particular night in question, I was using a Nikon SOE 1000DS with a telelens, a Minpix model.
Hold it!
Why did you pick that moment to run up the course? I've shot this corner multiple times, so I have a pretty good idea of how long it should take, between hearing the tires squeal on the previous corner and seeing the cars pass by. It had just been that bit too long, and everything went quiet. In truth, it was disconcerting. It made sense to investigate.
Hold it!
You didn't think to call out to them to get closer and ask what was going on? I wanted to, believe me, but then I saw Hank and Keisuke remove Clara's body from her car, and I was hit with a sudden sense of foreboding, like I'd witnessed something I wasn't supposed to see. So instead I hefted up my camera and...
Hold it!
Why do you say suspicious? You don't think 3 people crowded around a dead person tend to look suspicious? I don't think... Psst, Nina. Don't forget, you go to crime scenes, you kinda see a lot of dead people. Think about his perspective. He was only watching for long enough to take a picture. Do we have anything which clears up the actions of Hank and the others? What were they really doing?
Hold it!
You didn't look back to see what was going on? Sorry, I must confess, once I started, I didn't stop, not even for a moment.
Hold it!
Develop the photograph? You use a film camera? Yes. In this decade? What are you trying to say? It just seems a bit quaint. Aren't you a professional? My art isn't just in the taking, but in every step of the process. Every moment of sweat and toil contributes to the final image. So many little imperfections at every stage create a kind of organic warmth. Digital works, by comparison, are cold. Where do you even get the materials to develop the pictures? Well, I get them via the internet. What, so digital cameras are out, but online shopping is fine?
Objection!
Your Honor, the nitty-gritty of the witness's process are not on trial here. Sustained. This doesn't make sense. What doesn't? Marco's conclusions, they're totally wrong. I mean, we spent yesterday investigating. We probably just know more than he does. Maybe we have some evidence which crushes one of his assumptions. Alright, let's see what we have in terms of evidence.
Objection!
Marco, would you say that you are an expert in photograph analysis? I have an eye for detail, if that's what you're saying. And by your measure, the photo of the three defendants looks suspicious. Well, given that the three of them today stand accused of murder. Your Honor, while the photograph in question does show the defendants around the body of the accused, it does not show a murder.
Objection!
Are you seriously suggesting that it's not of importance? While it may not show the moment of the murder, they're dragging her body from the car.
Objection!
Check the cause of death among the evidence. The liner notes say that Clara's body bore signs that post-mortem someone attempted to give her CPR. That person, by his own admission, was Hank Castle, one of the accused. Yeah. In fact, Your Honor, Marco's statement, while presented honestly, is nothing more than his opinion due to his highly circumstantial perspective. The defense moves that it be disregarded from this case. Is that so? Why does he look so pleased? I've got a bad feeling. I'm forced to agree with Ms. Aquila in this instance. While the scene depicted in the photograph may seem suspicious in a certain context, it seems the explanation could be perfectly innocent. Something's not right about this. This photo thing, the CPR and the cause of death, these are far too obvious. Chad doesn't make those sorts of mistakes. That means while it could form part of a body of evidence, it is not, in and of itself, conclusive. Marco West, you may vacate the witness stand. Perhaps I'll see you at that manicure place later? I'll be shocked if we get out of here anywhere near early enough. But tomorrow, perhaps? Mr. Hawke. Yes, Your Honor. It is not often that I express doubt in your skills as a prosecutor. But you made very clear, in this case, that the prosecution was pursuing murder in the first degree. As of this moment, I see no evidence of this. Your Honor, may the prosecution make some supplementary remarks? Of course, but please, be brief. I don't like the sound of this. It is my belief that anyone, no matter how guilty, can be a decent human being. That they can step forward and have the courage to ask for the mercy of the court. I look upon such people with some respect, but events earlier in this hearing have turned this case into a farce. What do you mean? The prosecution is aware of certain evidence that suggests one person in this court is obstructing justice. What's he talking about? Chad's suggesting someone here isn't telling the truth. What did I miss? They are fully aware of their guilt, but they have chosen not to speak up. Perhaps they believed that we would not discover their secret. Or maybe they'd rather drag their friends down with them. Oh, he's talking about Jocelyn. So be it. Your Honor, the prosecution would like to call... Your Honor? Yes, defendant. I wish to change my plea. This isn't really the proper time. To nolo contendere. What the hell is she doing? Nina, what's nolo contendere? It's nolo contendere. It means no contest. But that would mean that she's admitting to the crime. It's almost like making a confession. Chad must have intended for her to do this happen all along. Did he get to Jocelyn? Or does he really have compelling evidence? You couldn't. I don't believe it. I can't.
Order.
Order!
Objection.
Objection! Your Honor, I must protest. I don't believe the defendant appreciates the ramifications of...
Objection.
Ask her. What? Ask her what it means. Ms. Montefiore? It means that proceedings continue, but I am to be presumed guilty unless proven innocent. She seems to understand perfectly well. Then she should make a statement. Your Honor, the defense wishes to cross-examine Ms. Montefiore. I thought you'd never ask. The prosecution would like to call Jocelyn Montefiore to the witness stand. I'm so sorry, Nina, Hank, everyone. Witness, can you describe what happened around the time of Clara Mass's death from your perspective? I hit something. Something. I didn't want to lose. I was so jealous of Clara. She was so perfect. Every gear change, every drift. I went to the mountain that night determined to beat her, no matter the cost. We were approaching the second hairpin and Clara's lights went out. And I knew that's when she would be making her move. I wanted to win. The next thing I knew, I felt a jolt. A jolt? An impact on my passenger side. Only then did I notice that I'd reared off my line to try and block Clara's path. The next thing we knew, we'd rounded the corner and Clara's car had crashed. I mean, we did hear an impact just prior to the accident. You two, don't be ridiculous. Jocelyn wouldn't hurt a fly. I'm not happy about it either, Hank, but then how do you explain it? I did it. I wanted to beat her. I wanted to win. I killed Clara Mass. Oh God, I'm so sorry. Your Honor, the prosecution wishes to highlight two pieces of evidence. When Clara Mass's car was found, it had extensive damage on the driver's side. Meanwhile, Ms. Montefiore's car had significant damage on its passenger side. So that's why Chad was at the police impound. Let me check something for a second. Nina. I've got to say I agree with Hank. Jocelyn's dedicated, but she's no murderer. Hasn't that ship sailed? She just admitted to it. Not necessarily. The mind is a powerful thing. You can convince yourself the sky is green if you try hard enough. Sometimes if people are confronted with evidence, they'll join the dots all on their own. She feels guilty and there's a convincing theory that she is guilty, so she thinks she's guilty. That doesn't make it true. Your Honor, may the defense begin our cross-examination? You may, Miss Aquila. I remember it like it was a movie scene. I can play it over and over in my head. I looked in my mirror and saw the moment that Clara's headlights went out. I was so determined to block her that I veered to the right and bang, it must have been Clara's AG-88. Moments later, Clara was dead. Oh God, what have I done? I am almost sympathetic, Ms. Montefiore. I'm sorry that your actions have led you to this point. Ms. Aquila, please begin your cross-examination. I don't believe Jocelyn did it. I believe she believes she did, but I don't think she could commit murder, even if she wanted to. There's got to be something which proves it. Or this is all going to be over before it even starts. Okay, so I'm gonna check the evidence. So we've got... Her car is an American model, while her car is a Japanese model. So the point of impact was on the driver's side. And this car had impact on the passenger's side. So it would not have been that.
Hold it!
But when we spoke yesterday, you didn't speak in quite so absolute terms. I wasn't sure. It was dark and snowing. I couldn't be certain what I hit at the time. I hoped against hope that when they examined my car, somehow they'd find that it wasn't Clara. But then that prosecutor came to see me last night. And he mentioned about the damage to the cars. I still hoped something would come up today, as I'm finding it hard to accept what I did. Those don't sound like the words of someone who is... If you find fault with my accusation, Aquila, then surely you can present some evidence, not merely conjecture. Sustained. Defendant, please continue. I looked in my mirror and saw the moment that Clara's headlights went out.
Hold it!
They just blinked out. That's right. They were on and then blink, they were off. It was dark, and with the snow falling, it was like her car vanished into the darkness. It was just like her. Improvisational, tactical, brilliant. I don't believe it for a second. A little bit of conjecture is not going to cut it here. Chad's theory is compelling, and after Jocelyn changed her plea, I need something in the evidence that makes Chad's theory impossible. If I think about everything I learned yesterday about racing, about the cars, what do I know that Chad probably doesn't? Yeah, the to the right.
Hold it!
But I thought you said you couldn't see her. I was stunned by the sudden sound of the impact, and for a moment I shut my eyes. Then how did you get around the corner? I've driven this road thousands upon thousands of times. I could probably race the whole course blind. But if you didn't see Clara's car at the moment you hit it, you seem to have got the wrong idea, Aquila. It was dark. Both cars were damaged. While it's true Ms. Montefiore didn't see the instant of the impact, the point is that she's convinced it was Clara's car. Something still seems wrong about this. She's clearly in distress, but I don't think we can learn anything from pushing her even more. Probably best to leave this part of her statement well alone.
Hold it!
Whoops, I was supposed to present evidence. Oh well.
Objection!
Jocelyn, you said that you started to think about this after Chad came to you last night, correct? You said he'd shown you compelling evidence about damage to both your Maverick and Clara's AG-88. That's right. Okay, let's stroke his ego just a bit. I have to admit, this is a clever piece of deduction. Chad, can you explain how you figured it out? With pleasure. The initial statement we received from the defendants mentioned a loud sound before they saw that Clara had crashed her car. When I visited the police impound, I noticed that Jocelyn's car had extensive damage on its passenger side, while Detective Flatfoot's report from the crash scene showed that Clara's car was damaged on its driver's side. From these facts, I deduced that Ms. Montefiore had instigated the crash. There it is. Chad, can you clarify just one thing for me? Of course. You don't drive, do you? No, actually, I cycle extensively or use Fledge City's public transit system. Why? You also haven't seen Clara's car yet, have you? With your own eyes. There was no need. I read Flatfoot's written report. It was comprehensive. Wait, how do you know? Your Honor, the defense would direct the court to look again at two pieces of evidence. Jocelyn Montefiore's Maverick damaged on its passenger side, and Clara Mass's AG-88 damaged on its driver's side. Oh. Of course. Wow, that's so obvious. But that would mean... Hey, what's the big idea? What are you babbling about, Aquila? Do you know what JDM means, Chad? Because I do! Your Honor, while Jocelyn's car is American, Claire's car is a Japanese domestic model, so the driver is on the right, meaning that both cars are damaged on their right-hand side. That makes it impossible for Jocelyn's car to have impacted Claire's car in the way the prosecution believes. Then what did Jocelyn hit on the road? A nocturnal animal? A piece of debris? Who cares?
Objection.
There's absolutely no proof that it was anything other than... The absence of evidence is not proof, Chad. She could have hit anything up there, but she couldn't have hit Claire's car. Well, I mean, even if both of them were going in opposite directions at once... Like her passenger side hitting her drive. You know what? If they had been going in opposite directions, then probably. Jocelyn's plea was based on how a piece of evidence suggested it was certain that she was guilty. In fact, as this evidence has proven to be fundamentally flawed, the defense requests that she be permitted to change her plea.
Order.
Order! Order! I must say this has been an unusual day. But given what has just been pointed out, I am inclined to agree with Ms. Aquila. Ms. Montefiore, do you wish to change your plea? Yes, Your Honor. I wish to plead not guilty. As I expected, the court recognizes your plea. However, Mr. Hawke, this revelation no doubt has a profound effect on the prosecution's case. Did we do it? Maybe, just maybe. Your Honor, the prosecution requests that we modify the charges we have brought up against the defendants. We wish to retract the charge of murder in the first degree. Yay! Wait for the other shoe to drop. However, in its place, we wish to propose a charge of murder in the second degree. We also still press the charges of murder by reckless endangerment and involuntary manslaughter. No, that's what I thought. It is the prosecution's prerogative to remind the court that these charges can still result in capital penalties for all three defendants. Why do I get the feeling that we just got out of the woods only to wander in the worst part of town? Very well, Mr. Hawke. The court should explain to both benches that the biggest concern in this case is that we still lack a clear picture of what took place in the moments leading up to Clara's death. However, Ms. Aquila... Yes, Your Honor. Be aware, I will not hesitate to sentence all of the defendants equally if I feel they are colluding to defuse their guilt. This is, in part, because the death occurred during an activity that was, by definition, illegal. Understood. As I am unable to render a verdict at this time, I suggest that we adjourn for today. Both benches are urged to investigate further and restate their cases. We shall reconvene the day after tomorrow. Court is adjourned. Alright, so that's the first day of the trial over. Now what's going to happen? Oh, we're going to get a save point. Oh, wow. Huh, Nina Aquila has a yaiba. There's got to be something. Something I've missed. Come on, brain. Think more like Anya. Maybe if I try to talk and act like her for a bit, I'd think of something. What am I thinking? That's ridiculous. Still. Hey, Nina. Hey, I heard you. The Ace's collective down payment just cleared for our services. You want to grab some lunch? Might be fun to eat something other than instant ramen and week-old Chinese food. Sounds good. You got something in mind? I had thought maybe the Great Wave. I think you're in love with that place. Hey, what can I say? I like sushi. Besides, it's Thursday and they do an all-you-can-eat special. Okay, you've convinced me. Come see me when you're ready to head out. Are you ready to head out? Yep, let's get going. Okay, boss. Okay, where's the Great Wave again? Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you. They moved. The whole restaurant? Yeah, it's near the convenience store now. Not quite sure how that's even possible. Well, it's true. Check your GPS. The Great Wave Sushi Restaurant, January 8th, 12:44 p.m. Why is there a teddy bear on the Kaiten Sushi? Welcome to the Great Wave. Why does she have cat ears? As Fudge City's premier 24-hour sushi restaurant, we pride ourselves on authentic Kaiten Sushi experience. We charge by the plate, so it's easy to order as much or as little as you want. And there's one of those burrito from the trading card game chapter. It looks like a squishmallow. We also have a range of specials that you can order a la carte. Is this your first time visiting? Dylan, back again, huh? Hi. 2 for the all-you-can-eat. Oh. Is something wrong? Sorry, but we've moved the day for the all-you-can-eat to Mondays. No way! That makes us 3 whole days late! Shame we didn't come in on Monday. Hardly. We were on our way to the Spire to see Terry's hot dog truck. Right. I guess that would have been the night of the Ace Race accident. Yeah, it's caused some confusion. We've updated our business cards with the new details, though. Here, you can put it on a notice board or something back at your office. You still want to eat here? Just pay by the plate? We're here now, may as well. Wonderful, let's see now. We are rather busy. Are you okay sitting up at the belt? Anywhere's fine. Okay, I spot 2 stools free. Just call for me to total up your plates once you've had enough. Thanks. Let's go get some chow. So, yes, kaiten sushi places are a thing. I went to a couple when I was living in Japan. And there is one that is fairly close to where I live that I've been there once or twice. There was a convention that I was working at. My doll club was putting on a regional convention, and it was near the shopping mall that had the kaiten sushi place, so I ate there for lunch a couple times. The place that I went to, they had a couple of different specials. I really, really like salmon, so I would always go for the seared salmon sushi. The other things that I really liked from them there were the soba salad. It was just basically soba noodles with a zesty dressing and edamame and scallions. Nina? Wrong bathroom. Why are there cute posters in the men's room, though? But anyway, I haven't been by that place in a while. The last time I was there was probably before the panini. What are you thinking? Salmon? Some rolls? I think I just saw some fried chicken go past us. I'm gonna wait until we spot some sashimi. Could you pass the ginger? Yeah, just a sec. Whoops. Oh wow, good catch. Don't mention it. Chad Hawk?
No way!
No way! What are you doing here? Eating sushi? Ask a stupid question, I guess. If you come here often, I'm surprised we've never ran into each other. The prosecutor's office is in this part of town, so I get lunch here sometimes. Still, I'm surprised you would take time out for a sit-down meal during an active investigation. I'm not a machine, you know. Could have fooled us. It's strange. I've dueled with Chad from across the courtroom so much that I tend to see him as less of a person, and more of a cog in Fledge City's judicial system. We have little common ground to make small talk. I know that he's kind of famous for a case from several years ago. Maybe start with that? How's your investigation going? Excuse you? You think we're gonna share... What? No. Even you two are more professional than that. I'm talking about Anya's case. What makes you think I'm still investigating Anya's case? Call it a hunch. Chad, can I ask you something? Go ahead. Did you seriously think that Anya was guilty? Doesn't matter what I thought. Don't give me that crap. You might be a prosecutor, but I'm led to believe that you're also a person. Aquila. Nina. I bore Anya no ill will, but the evidence was just too compelling. That's just it. I reviewed the evidence countless times, looking for some gap, some flaw. Anya was always better at this. She could flip her perspective on a body of evidence as easy as turning over a playing card at a poker table. I was never quite so good at it. No, your style is more... improvisational. I'm not sure if that's an insult or a compliment. Coming from him, it could be both. You're quick, Merlot. I like that. Thanks, I think. Aquila, it stuns me that despite your evident talents, the solution eludes you. It's simple logic. Anya has seen all of the evidence that was present at her own trial. So? Do I have to walk you through it? If that's true, that means applying her methods as an approach is fundamentally flawed. There has to be something which was taken at face value, which isn't what it seems. Call it a hidden truth. Where do you suggest I look? No idea. And besides, it's not up to me to tell you how to do your job. I wonder what the teddy bear tastes like. Check, please. That's 3, 4... Okay, here's your receipt. Please pay at the door on your way out. Oh, Aquila? Taryn didn't believe it. Huh? My boss, the DA, Taryn Kestrel. She's pretty stoic, as I'm sure you know. But when Anya's case came in, she said she found it very hard to believe. Thanks. See you in court tomorrow. Don't expect a polite chit-chat. Wow. You surprised Chad Hawk has the capacity to be nice? Nice? You call that nice? By his standards. I guess. I'm still processing the idea that he's actually human. Plus, I'm starving. There's some sashimi. Quick, before it gets away. 14 plates. What can I say? I really like salmon. Me too. You ready to head up to the spire? Yeah, I'm good to go. Okay, let's get in the car. All right, and with that, that is going to be where we're going to end things off tonight. So I'm going to check to see who is streaming right now. And okay, it looks like Bellame is playing Xenoblade Chronicles 3, so we are going to drop in and say hi to her. Right, everyone, so I want her to give her a big old objection when we go in to raid her. And I will be streaming next on Monday night, and I hope you all have a good rest of your weekend and a good night. Get some sleep, get some rest. I hope you guys are going to be bright-eyed and bushy-tailed on Monday. Thank you very much and have a good one.